fucking didn't write anything. Getting watch chicka like bathing young Hova. I go hitters like Yankee, gun totas, go triggers like crazy. I apologize. Oh, what are we doing, bro? Don't text me in no fucking 925 on some bullshit. Oh, it's my own notification. The lols. The lols. The lol. Damn, lightning. You lightning fast in this bitch. This one's later than it should be, primarily due to the fact that today's been one of those days. Pretty good. I literally just got out of the shower. I watched the Pokemon episode and then recorded it, uploaded it while I was in the shower, and then it finished. So, pretty good. We're going to talk about some stuff. There isn't a lot, but there are a few things we can talk about. So, that's what we're going to do. We'll give it a few minutes. People to hop in. I know y'all ain't doing nothing. I ain't doing a goddamn thing. What shit was up? That Jinbei hug, though, yeah. Man, period. Don't start no shit with me, bro. I heard about that delay and I was mad. Don't you bring that shit in this house. We supposed to be boys. You supposed to be there for me emotionally. He won't though, but I'm just saying he could. What's up, Twin Daggers? Yeah, one job. This motherfucker's like, hey man, did you say? So yes, I read the chapters for My Hero. I read the chapters for Black Clover. I read the chapters for One Piece. I read the chapters for Dr. Stone. I read the chapters for Demon Slayer because I'm caught up to Demon Slayer. I think that's all the main ones. That's all the main ones. We do have some gaming topics. What's up, Laker Link? How you doing, bro? Let's see. But we do have some conversation topics. And that is not the right link. Motherfucker. That's one. That's two. It was the PS5 controller. It was Capcom. And then it was Final Fantasy stuff. Those are like the main three things. Final Fantasy, Capcom, and PlayStation 5 controller. They need to explain the spirit thing. Spirit. Are you talking about... I'm trying to think. I'm making sure I'm not missing something. I know what the latest chapter was, but I'm trying to think what the spirit thing is. You mean the thing that was happening with Nezuko a lot, where like her mom was coming in and reminding her of shit? Oh shit! All Might's in this bitch. His name is Antonio or Antoine, depends on how you pronounce it. As we're going to talk about both as far as Resident Evil is concerned, because I think one ties into the other. So we'll give it about another minute and then we'll jump into it. Also, if you want to ask me any questions, put it in the Discord. If you're not a part of the Discord, become a part of the Discord. Alright, let's see. Which reminds me, I haven't checked the Discord to see if there's any questions. Yeah. Demon Slayer, I think, is one of them shows that you're just not... It's supposed to be what it is, and we're just not supposed to ask that many questions about it. Let's see... That's what I feel like. Demon Slayer, I feel like it's very much like, here's some of the stuff we're doing, and then that's it. Like here's a story about fighting demons, and that's it. Resident Evil 4 needs a remake. That game is too long. But am I getting it in parts though? Am I getting it as one game, or am I getting like six games for it? Because if we're not getting 6 games for it, this is a motherfucking problem. We obviously need 6 games. God damn. Let's see. Had to give the appropriate reaction. And we do have some questions for A and me. Oh damn, we got like 8 questions. God, guys, Jesus. Okay, so Sorosan. Hey, what's up, Sorosan? How you doing, bro? Well, realistically, I feel like the Resident Evil 3 remake was rushed because it reuses so many assets from like 2's remake. I don't feel like it got fleshed out to the degree it should have been. I mean, I heard it's still a fun game and I still want to play it, but like, it could have been more. Resistance felt like it was paid attention more. Didn't even look at it. We may or may not be taking jabs at Final Fantasy VII Remake. So this is what we're going to ask you guys in the chat. What do you want to tackle first? Capcom stuff, which includes Resident Evil 3 and the possible remake of 4. And supposedly there's supposed to be like an 8 game, like Resident Evil 8 is supposed to be a thing. Do we want to tackle that? Or do we want to tackle Final Fantasy? Or do we want to tackle the PlayStation 5 controller? Because since a lot of you guys are already, since like some of the questions in the Discord are asking about some of these topics anyway, I can kind of like get rid of questions while talking about the things anyway. Because there wasn't anything else of note to talk about. But I tend to ramble, and these things aren't like 3 hours long anyway. So I could probably get a good number of I can get enough conversation. So you want to talk about Final Fantasy VII? PlayStation. What else? That's 1 for FF7. That's 1 for PlayStation. There's 13 of you in here. You got to pick a topic. Although there is lag. I got to recognize that. Because 1 for FF7, 1 for PlayStation. We need more. I can't make a decision like this, guys. Talk about the controller. So that's 2 for PlayStation. Which is true. There isn't a lot about the controller. Which reminds me, do I have... I'm curious if I have the PS3 controller right here. I should. I do. I do have my PS3 controller. And then I'm going to grab my PS4 controller. That's right here. Yeah, okay. Alright, let's talk about the controller. Alright, so... if you're going from the PS3... It shouldn't have dust on it. Some of this is because of issues in my room. The other part is that. So this is the PS3 and PS4 controller. As you can see, there isn't that much of a difference. Like, the buttons and the layout are pretty much in the same spots, with the only difference really being is a giant touchpad in the middle and the changing of buttons and there being a speaker. I know we're going Air Slander is fine, but fucking, I mean, I like Tifa's design. And for those who don't know, I am playing Final Fantasy VII, the original, on Twitch every Saturday, confirmed, but it may show up other days because we're all kind of out. So Sony released the image of the PlayStation 5, which we're going to copy that address and put it on the screen so you guys can see it. See, no, that's not what I wanted. Give me the goddamn. Yeah, let's see if this works. It should, in theory. Yeah, it does. Okay, cool. So we're gonna shrink it to about there, and then we're gonna put it in the corner. So that's the PlayStation 5 controller. Realistically, you know what it reminds me of the most just looking at it? It reminds me of a variation of the Switch Pro controller. When I hold it up like this, it's almost that same exact design. Which the irony is, is that the Switch controller is just a variation of the fucking Xbox controller, which my sister has, but it's not worth going to go get for a demonstration. But look at it. It's literally, now if we compare the two, for the hell of it, because it's just more curved. Let's see. Whoops. Let's do about here. It's not that much of a difference. Realistically, all they're really changing, it's just a more curved design like the Xbox and the Switch Pro controller. And it's probably going to be a little bit, and it's thicker now. Instead of like this kind of weird bump layout, it'll just be like the Switch controller, except we'll still have two D-pads at the bottom of the fucking controller, which is, they're the only ones who do that style. Nintendo has done the two analog sticks at the top, which is on, yes, I actually have all of these on me, surprisingly, which is like the Switch Pro controller. But realistically, it's just copying the the Wii U Pro controller, but it's actually just copying the Switch Pro controller. And realistically, it's not that big of a change. I mean, I still need to get the Xenoblade Pro controller. Not that I need it, but I fucking want it. That's the reality of it all. I don't need it, but I want it. I mean, I don't know how people feel about the change. It's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. It's just more of a standardized look. That's all it is. The only thing that'll make the PlayStation 5 controller any different is it still has the touchpad and it has the two analog sticks at the bottom. They're not even changing any of the orientation. It'll literally just be like the Switch Pro controller. That's what it'll be like. Imagine the Switch Pro controller, but move the fucking analog stick down. It's not that different. We'll swap the places of the analog stick and the D-pad. That's what it is. I mean, yeah, I would probably agree with that. They're both fine, but I do prefer the Switch Pro controller. But that's also because I've been gaming on this way more than this, even though I bought these around the same time. But it's nothing crazy. It's nothing crazy, personally. I had to go through the new game. Crap, I forgot to save it at the spot. Also, what's up, Yuki? Switch Pro controller needs more colors. I agree. I think I saw Richard there say something. Sorry. Kiss not kids. Oh. Personally, I like it. I saw you liked it. I'm just indifferent towards it. I'm not necessarily in love with it. It's not anything. I don't care for the white and black color scheme personally. I say this owning a Smash Brothers Pro controller, but like the white and black doesn't do a lot for me personally. It just looks fine. The only difference is that it just won't have the giant fuck me light on the front of it. That's literally it. It's nothing that interesting. Sony doesn't have to do much. They show a controller and get trending, and I love it. These controllers are very similar. Hard to pick a best. Yeah, they're all pretty much the same. Like literally. Oh, also thank you for Jesus Christ, Soro-san. I think you have given me probably like $100 in the course of like a week, bro. Relax. You do not need to spend all this money. It's crazy. What was the other things what new things are on here? I didn't even scroll. Let's go check. What are the other new things? It has a built-in microphone, which the PlayStation 4 did. DualSense. Now let's talk about colors. I have color designs. There's no longer a share button. It's a create button, which is going to lead into some stuff. Which, whatever. Create just means expand it like social media options. Like you'll probably still be able to like do Twitch streams and take pictures and all that other stuff. It'll just be more robust. That's the idea I get from that. Let's see. It also has a new advanced triggers. That's the other thing. Where apparently, like if you walk into a puddle, you could actually feel yourself going through the grittiness of the water, or like dirt, or if you're driving a car. It's like it's cool stuff. I'm not sitting here saying none of this isn't cool. It's just not that exciting. Like, that's my problem with it. It's not like incredibly exciting. Like, it's not something I'm gonna lose my shit over. That, oh man, did you see that new PS5 controller? Because the controller is only cool for like 5 seconds, especially if the controller isn't that different design wise. And it's not. It's literally like the same basic design. Yeah, you'll have an editing app in the PS5. Nothing crazy. The features, and so when you get some of these zoom in shots, it has USB-C, which is cool. What else? Still don't like the fucking. By the way, just gonna throw this out here. Still not overly crazy about the motherfucking D-pad. That's just me. I've never been crazy about the D-pad. The good news is most games don't require it. And I will say this, I always preferred the analog sticks. Well, and they're not that different. But I think I've always preferred the analog sticks of like the Pro controller over like the PS4. And unfortunately, the things that I do care about, like the analog stick and the fucking D-pad, it literally the exact same on the PS5 controller. They look like exactly the same. Let's see, man, I need help for all this copyright stuff. I mean, I need to help for all the copyrights. Oh, yeah, because the Patreon stuff. I guess I'll quickly mention that. For those, essentially, the reason why the donation goal is called Copyright Vanguard, just to give context, I've been uploading, like, reactions onto the Patreon. So if you follow the Patreon, you're getting a slew of new content. There's another video that's meant to go live on Wednesday of some more reactions, even reacted to a Ghibli film. And I'm uploading those on Vimeo. But Vimeo isn't free for the kind of files I'm putting up there. So this will just go towards paying for Vimeo. That's literally what this is. Because I don't get enough on Patreon to pay for Vimeo. So just to give context, that's why it's called Copyright Vanguard up there. But yeah, there's, like I said, there's nothing really else to talk about. It, like, the two things I don't like about the PlayStation 4 controller, which is the analog sticks and the D-pad, and those are the two things that are exactly the same. So, not a lot of excitement for me personally. Just me, I'm just saying. Like, I don't know how you guys feel, but like, for me, I just don't care. It's fine. It's whatever. The design changes I'm fine with, like in terms of its look, but it now just looks like every other controller. And then, yeah, the battery life, that's the other thing. Let's see. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. It's another controller, goddammit. It's another motherfucking controller. With that being said, I'm going to get this off the screen because it doesn't mean much to me anymore. And I guess we can. Depends on which one, because the Final Fantasy stuff I can end up ranting about. Well, it's actually probably better to get it out now than to get it out later. So, Final Fantasy VII has released. A lot of you either playing it or now have seen a bunch of footage of it. The reviews came out early last week, and it was reviewing pretty well. It seems to be getting positive scores all around. Although I do have my, what's the word I'm looking for? I have my concerns. Because of what I've heard about the game's ending, and from what I've seen, in the direction they seem to be taking this remake, and to the point where realistically, I don't know who the fuck this remake is for. So, with the constant controllers, well, Red Dragon, the issue with Xbox is that it's more of it's an influx of controllers. Like, the shit doesn't stop. That's the problem with fucking Xbox. They don't stop, and they need to stop sometimes, and they refuse to. And also the fact that they'll announce new controllers more than new games. But who wants to talk about that? So, here's my thing with Final Fantasy VII. From what I've looked up and from what I've read and from what I've heard from some people who have beaten it, I don't understand who the fuck this remake is for. Because, don't spoil it. How do I put this then? It deviates from the norm, from the original plot. See, like I said, I'm playing the original game. So, like, I've already seen sequences. I'll give you an example. This isn't really a spoiler. Red 13. You meet him in the old game, in the original game, and it's the whole sequence where, like, Hojo's trying to get him to breed with Aerith, and Red 13 acts like it's about to attack. Yeah, I played the demo. And Red 13 acts like he's about to attack Aerith, which is just a trick to get Hojo to let down his guard, and then he attacks Hojo, and then talks that whole thing about how, oh yeah, I can speak, and pretty much it's a bait and switch, making him seem way more smart than you would. Like, he seems smarter than what he looks like. Don't judge a book by its cover. In the remake, when they meet him, it's on some fucking, he's chasing Hojo. They don't even do the fucking him and Aerith in the same, like, container anymore. He's chasing Hojo like a mad animal, and then it looks like he's about to attack, like, Aerith and them, and Aerith does that whole, I'm gonna calm the savage beast shit that they do in a lot of shows. It makes him look worse as a character, whereas in the original he seems like he's smart and cunning by coming up with the idea. Here he just seems like a savage beast that was calmed down by Aerith, and now he has the ability to talk. And it's that kind of shit that irks me. The other complaint I saw is how the game is another one of those, and it's one of the things I hate about modern gaming, where you give me this beautiful fucking landscape, and I can only really walk in this one line. So, like, here's this whole little world. You turn the corner, look at this amazing backdrop. Look at those buildings and the people and all this other shit. And I'm going down this straight, narrow hallway, and I'm like, what in the fuck is this? And what frustrates me, and then on top of that, the ending has been changed to where people don't even think the next game is going to be like, it's not really a remake. It seems like it's going to be some alternate universe shit. That's what I've, at least from what I've seen and heard, it seems like it's going to be some alternate universe shit. And in which case, it's more of a companion piece to 7. But, like, why did you call it a remake then? It's not, like, it's kind of a remake, but it's more of like, yeah, and then the fact that you can't play as Red 13 in the game, even though he's introduced in the game. I don't understand who this is for, because, like, the old school fan are going to look at all these changes, and I don't know if everyone's going to be down with every single change. The other problem is that it also, because it's not going, yeah, it's more of a reimagining, but a remake is not the same thing as a reimagining. And that's the other thing. That was the other thing I saw in the reviews that frustrated me. I don't like how everyone who's been praising this remake, for some reason, it then turns into a situation of, we have a more engaging battle system because this one isn't turn-based. And I'm like, listen, you can praise the battle system for the remake and not talk shit about turn-based battle systems. That's not what people are fucking do. I like Tifa, but realistically, if I want to get into the whole censorship thing about how her outfit's a little changed and her proportions have been slimmed down to a degree, that's all. I'm going to leave it at that. But it frustrates me that, like, the conversation now turns from, turn-based battle systems aren't, and what pisses me off is that, like, Final Fantasy VII was already a variation on turn-based battles anyway. It's an active battle system. You're running on, like, a fucking timer. So, like, you always are paying attention during the fight. Because, just because you attack a cloud, there's the timer for Tifa. There's the timer for fucking Barret. Oh shit, the enemy's attacking me while I'm doing the timer shit. And I gotta wait until the timer comes back around. So, oh fuck, if I didn't Hail Barrett on that turn, I better hope to God he doesn't get attacked too many times on this next turn. Like, 7's combat is not what I consider, like, slow. Because you always have to pay attention. There is no, it's not like Pokemon, where if you're in the middle of a fight, you could put the game down and go to the bathroom real quick. Like, with 7, if you were in a fight, they will keep attacking you even if you don't attack them back. Like, there is no pause in those battles. So it frustrates me that people keep acting like, oh, well, the original was so slow. In what fucking way? How? Is someone playing the game right now? How the fuck is that battle system slow? So part of that frustrates me. And then they want to act like the new system's so much better, but literally all it's doing is taking the brake system from like Octopath and turning it and making it like an action. It's more of an action. And like in Octopath Traveler, the way you fought your opponents, you would have to find a weakness and then you would hit them with the weakness. And once you broke an enemy, you can then essentially get what most people consider like free damage. But the stagger, and to be fair, I'll be fair here. Since I haven't played the remake, I don't know how deep it is. I only know from the demo, and the demo is not a good example of how deep the game is. But what frustrates me is that people act like Octopath handled the same system better. Because the thing about staggering usually in like action-based games is you're essentially doing the same action to stagger. Whereas in like Octopath, because the brake system was the way it was, and because it was turn-based, you could then change up bosses to deal with the brake system. So, like, certain bosses in Octopath either had locked brake weaknesses, meaning you had to, like, you could only, even though he had, like, 4 things that he would break to, you could only use one of them because he locked the other 4. You could only hit one of them because he locked the other 4 out of the 5 he had. Or they were fucking hidden. You had to figure them out. Or you couldn't get to them until you killed his minions. Or he fucking changed his weaknesses over like every time you broke him. Like, you could do cool shit like that. From what I've seen of 7's remake, it's stagger to win, essentially. Once I stagger, I get a bunch of free damage. And the irony is that I'm talking about 2 different Square games. People want to say that like the turn-based system is trash or it's weak. Ain't no fucking way, because you still got to do the same strategies. Yeah, it's not really, I don't really call it copying. It's not copying. It's more so different design philosophies. That's why I say big budget Square I can't stand. But I like low budget Square. Like, I imagine Bravely Default 2 will be fucking great. But I don't trust any big budget title they make. And I'm not even saying, and listen, I'm not even saying it's wrong to enjoy remakes combat, because a lot of people enjoy it. But to sit there and act like the turn-based system isn't that good, to me, is just bullshit. That's 100% bullshit. And then, in getting back to the main point, I'm like, it's like, and as much as you might like the extra character development they gave certain characters, it's padding. It's still padding. And the reason why it's padding is because it's a remake of an old game. If this was a new title with new characters and a new story, it'd be fine. Or if they had did what this game really is going to be based off of what I know of the ending, it's essentially a reimagining. It's not really a remake. So, like, it's not for the new fans, because the new fans would still have to play the old games to even understand what they're doing, what's so different in the remake. They're 2 different kinds of games, but they're marketing it as a remake, but it's more of a reimagining that's also a part 1. And you're like, what the fuck kind of shit is this? But no one gives a fuck because it's 7 and it looks so good. And I'm like, bro, that shit just irks the fuck out of me, man. And realistically, it's milking 7. Like, it would not surprise me if, like, in later parts, you don't, like, Aerith doesn't die. And realistically, I'm like, some people, it's like literally going between, like, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition and this. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition is essentially a better looking / running version of the original game with bonus content. 7 is one of those titles you literally could have just done that and people would have been happy. You could, if you wanted to still do these what if scenarios, you know what you could have done? Make DLC. You think people wouldn't have bought it for Final Fantasy fucking 7? But of course not. You make more money doing it this way. And I'm like, fuck. So like, and realistically, and I already heard people complaining that certain sequences don't hit the same way because they've done these changes. Now, whether or not in the grand scheme of things it'll matter to that degree, I don't know. Also, what's up, Prince Revolver? I just think it's fucking frustrating that this is one of those games that'll sell like hotcakes literally because of what it is. And that, well, see, the difference is that the problem with the people who called out Pokemon, it's like for a different tier. The Pokemon was called out because the animations were quote unquote lazy and the level design was weaker. And I agree. And ironically enough, they almost have the same kind of problems where they're it's weird as heck that people are calling them out for a game that's like 40 or 50 hours. Are they giving you less content when you expand on the storylining? Final Fantasy VII Midgar would have been the perfect title. Marketing was awful for the game. They even used the same box artwork for the box. Doesn't surprise me at all. Like realistically, I have a mass of reservations for this. And it's not like the game looks bad by any means. I just don't trust. This is modern big budget Square, and I don't trust modern big budget Square. I'll be real with you. That's the core of it. And then once realizing that this is essentially a reimagining, not really a remake, that just kind of put the nail in the theoretical coffin for me. But people need to decide and like the turn-based battle system ain't shit. That's just not true. That is 100% not true. You're also basing, literally, you're going, and you're like, oh, one person made the statement of, oh, if I miss, they use this as an example. They said, if I miss in the original game to RNG versus missing in the remake would be because I didn't position myself correctly. And I was like, yeah, but for one, that's not like, I feel like that's a terrible example. Because like, what the fuck, like Dragon Quest does the same thing. It's a fucking turn-based game that, granted, it has a free-flowing mode, but it's also a turn-based game at its core. And like, there's RNG still. You can do that in fucking, when you're fighting bosses in Final Fantasy VII Remake, where you fucking like, where you attack a boss and then the boss is in his animation, so he switches and you miss attacks because of it. You can still have that same stupid ass RNG. So it's just frustrating. I have no interest in buying the game at all. Anime Rapper. That doesn't mean I wouldn't play it. It just means I'm not going to pay for it. That's what I'm telling you. But if you enjoy the game, Snowy Taco, that's cool. I'm just saying I don't think it's worth the money. And let me rephrase that. I don't think I wouldn't pay for it. I guess I'll just say that. I wouldn't pay for it. So, a developer sells you a game with episodic games. It means it's not, which is true. The first game ends at the end of Midgar. That's 1/3 of the base disc, but Tifa though. And that also, realistically, considering the level design of Midgar, I highly am concerned about when they get to the much larger area of the game. Especially if they're trying to pad it out. They padded Midgar out. So I don't think it's people think it's going to be a trilogy. We'll fucking see. We'll fucking see. That's just me. I don't really want to keep harping on the 7 remake, but that just frustrated me personally. I just don't like when people dog. First off, I don't like the hate towards turn-based. If you don't like turn-based, that's whatever. But don't sit there and act like there's no strategy in it. All right. Pokemon is not what you. Yeah, it's gonna be longer than 3 parts, especially because they're adding all this extra shit, but like potential like alternate pathways and shit. At least in story-wise. I don't think this is going to be 3 parts. This is probably going to be more like 6. But I'm curious how people are going to feel once they beat it and go through it. It's also kind of jarring to also play a fucking RPG that's like if you go look at like Cloud and Tifa and Aerith's like abilities at the end of this game, like in-game Tifa, in-game Cloud and shit, it's jarring to go through like an RPG that has very little progression. That, oh, by the way, I'm stuck to like the same 3 or 4 move sets and same 3 or 4 attacks. I think that's worse than starting again from level 0. I also don't think it's gonna be 2 years. It's probably gonna be longer than 2 years. Because like with Midgard, you could turn linear. Like when you get to like the open world, I don't think you'll be able to do that. Yeah, and that's the other. But my other issue is that Square hasn't told people how long this is supposed to be. And realistically, I look at this as like a prologue to the reimagined Final Fantasy VII. But we'll see. We'll see how they take the criticism they get, if they get any, and how they handle it moving forward. But we probably won't see the next part for like another, I want to say, 2 years at least, I would think. At least. There's no way that shit's coming out like now. This shit's not coming out like next year or nothing. Because you can't really reuse anything from Midgard to do so. Like, they gotta make whole new assets. Either that or pull shit from like 15. It all depends. It all fucking depends. That's just how I feel about the whole situation. Well, that's because they were trying to make more money. That's the reason why they broke the game up. The whole point of breaking the game up was literally to make more money. Because you can remake, especially when you have a game like Xenoblade getting a fucking like up-res and port. Well, it depends on how you look at Xenoblade, but Xenoblade's getting its own remake, and Xenoblade is just as long of a game. Actually, I would think people would argue Xenoblade is longer. Yeah, don't remind you of 15. But it'd be like Nintendo remaking Ocarina of Time, and the first game you played as Link as a child. Yeah, like if you look at the average playtime, there have been longer games remade in short, remade as whole games. Well, let's see. If we look up playtime, I'm just gonna look up playtime real quick. The average playtime for fucking like the remake is 30 to 40 hours. How long is the playtime for the original main game? The original main game, I think, takes you. That's the remake again. It's the remake. The main game took somewhere between 37 hours and 53 hours. So so you made the fucking remake longer than the main game. There's no way they couldn't have just done a normal remake. People we're so concerned about like this movie budget quality, you almost forget it's a motherfucking video game. I hate modern gaming. That's the one thing about modern gaming I hate. It's probably the reason why I didn't like the God of War. God of War was another one of those games that was more concerned about being a fucking like movie than like, to me, when your development decision behind making the camera behind Kratos and the fucking, what was the other thing? Oh, no loading screens for the sake of like cinematic cinematic visuals or whatever. I was like, eat a dick, bro. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. It frustrates me, bro. Because it didn't make any fucking sense. So there's going to be really a focus on updates in this game. As someone who's been able to play the game at a friend's house, I can say the combat isn't bad. I actually have strategic moments, not a lot of mashing. And that's fine. I'm not sitting there saying that the remake's battle system is bad. I just don't like people bashing the turn-based system when praising when praising this battle system. That's my whole thing. What else? I wonder if all the partners are going to be timed exclusive. We'll see. Yeah, the graphics, and for people saying it's just because of multiple discs, that's a lie. Lost Odyssey was made by the creator of Final Fantasy for Xbox 360, and it had multiple discs. I don't even think this thing would need multiple discs. I think people were fucking. Well, let's just get off it, all right? I tried it. I was frustrated just because I'm just tired of that. I'm tired of big budget modern gaming getting in the way of like legit. Because like realistically, let's be real here. If I asked you, would you rather have Final Fantasy VII remake or have like a up to date version of Final Fantasy VII? Which would you rather have? Remake part one of the remake, or like a full Final Fantasy game that probably had the graphic style of about, let's say it was about on par with like Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, like around there, or maybe like better than Final Fantasy. So, or maybe it's between Final Fantasy 13 and 15, where it's not as realistic as 15, but it's not as old looking as like 13 is. You tell me people wouldn't have minded then? And look, Snowy Taco, that's cool. I just don't understand who the fuck it's for. Because the old fan, it's realistically, I think this is more for the old fans than the new fans. Because what new gamer is going to pick this up and go, oh, this is the Final Fantasy VII story? No. It's a variation of it, but it's not really the same story. Yeah, but that's such a petty reason not to like turn-based. And then obviously wondering, so which actually, you know what? That actually translates uh, easily into the Capcom discussion. So let's jump into that. So supposedly we got confirmation that Capcom has greenlit a Resident Evil 4 remake, which ironically enough, Resident Evil 4 is like the Final Fantasy 7 of RE games. It's like that game. It's the genre defining game. That's what RE4 is. And here's my thing. So here's the situation. It's almost the same situation with Final Fantasy VII Remake in the sense that, like, I feel like the company's over relying on fucking remakes, which is like the first problem with the RE4 remake. It's the third remake, and yet no new Resident Evil game. Although I've heard rumors that there's supposed to be a Resident Evil 8 coming, but as of right now, because we don't have any confirmation, this will be the third fucking Resident Evil remake in a fucking row. Row? Row. I don't know why. That didn't sound right when I said it. And that's what I'm saying. And the frustration is not only that, but the other problem is that when you look at three's remake isn't... Okay, so here's the thing about 3. 3's remake, I'm still interested in buying and playing. I want that to be stated, but 3's remake is also lacking content. Like, let's just be real here. Like, Resident Evil 3 remake is pretty much like a fun adventure / romp you can go through and enjoy, and in about 5 to 7 hours, you're done. Which is insane because you're still charging me $60 for it. But because it looks the way it does, that's why. The second Resident Evil remake was like a month ago. So what? Resident Evil 2 remake came out last year. Resident Evil 3's remake came out this year. And this remake is meant to come out in the next 2 years. So not next year, but the year after. So in the course of 4 years, 19, 20, 21, yeah, 4 years. In the course of 4 years, we will have 3 fucking remakes from the same IP and no new game. And I'm like, bro. And look, no, and don't get it twisted. It's not that I think bitch can't even swim. The other thing that kind of pisses me off is that I don't think the Resident Evil 3 remake is bad. It's the same situation as the Final Fantasy remake. It's a good game in its own right. Although I think the 3 is kind of, the way I look at 3 is the way I look at like Sonic Generation. Sonic Generations is a short game, but it's still a fun short game. That's what RE3's remake is. What if the what that it's worth $60 because of the graphics? No, no. What you talking about? RE3? No, RE3. Juice didn't buy RE3. That's the main reason why he didn't, because he found out it was only like 5 hours. That's the reason why I haven't bought it. I am looking for a price drop for it because I still want to get RE3's remake. Like I still want to play it, but I'm just not gonna pay 60 for it. I'll pay the most I would pay for RE3's remake is like 40. 40 I would pay for it because 40 the graphics would justify the 40. I'm just not paying 60 for it. And the frustration is, so the problem with the Resident Evil 4 remake is also 3 didn't set a good precedent. 2 was great. Like if this was announced after 2's remake, okay, cool. But this is after 3's remake, which is a shorter game and a game that got cut content. Like I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this, bro, because fucking RE3's remake felt kind of rushed. Oh yeah, of course it'll be 40 by June. I understand that, but like RE3's remake will be fucking was kind of a neutered version of it, and I'm like, do I really want you to do RE4 considering you already were kind of like fucking around with 3s? I don't know, man. What are you talking about? Kingdom Hearts 1? Kingdom Hearts 1 has not aged well to me. I like it, but I definitely would say 2 has aged way better than 1 has. Would rather play Ground Zero or Resident Evil. I probably would play Resident Evil over Ground Zero. Metal Gear was just a franchise I never got into. Yeah, the other problem is that we're already in kind of a period where there's remakes of a lot of games as of recently. I think people are just kind of getting burned out of it, personally. I wouldn't recommend anyone. People will ride if they cut down anything in Resident Evil 4. Yeah, but we'll see. Because it's coming out so fucking quickly. It's supposed to be coming out in 2022. It's like 2 years. Kind of. It depends on when it comes out in 2022 anyway. So, I mean, we'll see, but I'm not overly... And then, like I said, I think they've already burned out their fan base with so many... Which is weird. It's funny, period, because that's true. KH2 to me is still my favorite Kingdom Hearts game. Like that to me, especially even if it's a mainline game, it is my favorite Kingdom Hearts game. But god damn it. Like that game came out on the PlayStation motherfucking 2. And 3, to be fair, Kingdom Hearts 3 is another fucking game that suffers that big budget curse. Where it tried to be so big that it couldn't handle its shit, and guess what we got? A lesser fucking product. Granted, I think part of that was also Disney's restrictions were a lot worse, but that's a whole other thing. Well, Chain of Memories was never good, so that's I never fucking liked Chain of Memories, so that's Chain of Memories was a pain in the ass when I bought it. Kingdom Hearts 2 was great. I fucking love Kingdom Hearts 2. But fucking Chain of Memories, I fucking hate it. I hate it when I played it on the Game Boy. I hate it when I played it on the PlayStation 2 when it got that fucking 3D remake. And then fucking, what was the other one? Oh, and then the port of it, which didn't do anything for me. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that list, Wandering Soul. The only reason why, because I debate with myself whether or not I put Kingdom Hearts 1 below or above 3. Kingdom Hearts 2 is best, but I don't. The main reason why I probably would play KH3 over KH1 is because of the control. That's literally it, though. In terms of content, the first game is better, but like in terms of control, I prefer how 3 controls over 1. Capcom needs to relax with the remakes, which is what I agree with. The Game Boy version of Chain Memories was hell. Yes, it was. All the handheld games have issues with their combat, which is very true. I think the closest one was Birth by Sleep, And I don't like that game as much. I like the story of that game. The gameplay is a whole nother thing. And no, I like Birth by Sleep and 1 Before 3. See, I debate. See, that's the problem. I think content wise, I would say I prefer 1 over 3. But fucking like, I like the way 3 controls. That's like my only hang up. Whereas I think 2 is better than 3 in every fucking way. One's biggest problem is that it's platform focused, and I hate the fucking platforming in KH1 because it's so hell. Alice in Wonderland was like one of the first worlds you went to. I hated that level. Hate that level. I would play fucking Tarzan's level before I play fucking Alice in Wonderland's level again. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Birth by Sleep has the best story of the handheld games, but fucking, oh my god, that gameplay is not. It has similar issues. The camera and platform mechanics are my biggest issues. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I like Cage otherwise, but man, that fucking platforming was some bull. Near, I don't even know. Near is a whole another thing I'm not even worried about right now. I'm still trying to finish Dragon Quest 11 at this point, so I'm not even overly concerning myself with it. Also, let me check the Discord questions for some stuff because we've literally gotten on tangents. So, Source Science is letting me know about The Last of Us and Iron Man VR offering refunds, which is fine. Games are being refunded. Looks like you might be right about the PS5 release. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if the PS5 got delayed. We already talked about the PS5 controller, so that can get deleted. Let's see. That's actually literally what it is, period. 2 is the best game. 2 is the best Kingdom Hearts game, period. Like, that's not even a question. Oh, here's one that's kind of interesting. Would I be okay with Final Fantasy VII Remake or RE3 winning the game of the year? Now, granted, game of the year, we still got like another, 8 months? Well, no, because we'll probably get game of the year stuff in November. November, early December, so like 7, 8 months. I don't think either one of them should win it. But if I had to pick one, I think that's deserving of it. It's probably RE3. Because like I said, a good short game is better than a long, boring one. I think RE3 could justify it, but they'll probably give it the Final Fantasy because it's Final fucking Fantasy. Let's see. I remember Alice in Wonderland OST and for the wrong reason. You don't know real pain until you spend $40 on Chain of Memories PS2, thinking it'll play exactly like 2. Yeah, Period. I owned Chain of Memories. Actually, I owned Chain of Memories 3 fucking times. I owned it on the Game Boy fucking Advance. I owned it on the PlayStation 2, and then I got it with the stupid Kingdom Hearts collection. At least then I could justify it by saying I wanted the other games. Fuck, I hate Chain of Memories with a passion. I think I only got through Sora section in the PS2 version. In the PS2 version was when I got through Sora section. And I started playing Riku's, and I could give a fuck less. Yeah, Doom Eternal will probably be a better game of the year overall. But he was asking in between Final Fantasy VII and Resident Evil. Resident Evil 3 is the better choice of the two, but they'll probably, if they gave it to one of those two, it'd be Final Fantasy, because why? It's Final fucking Fantasy. What else? Lightning's trying to get into a long ass conversation about Persona 5, and I've already done a video on Persona 5. But Persona 5 overall is an okay game for me. Personally, I don't mind Final Fantasy. Oh wow, my brain cut off. I don't mind Persona 5. My biggest issues with Persona 5 is that Persona 5's best characters are the side characters, which are the ones you don't play as. The only main cast characters I really like from Persona 5 is, I probably would say Makoto, Futaba, and Haru to a lesser extent because Haru is introduced so fucking late. Those are like the three I like the most. And I just think the characters are weak. I know a lot of people disagree with me, but like when you give me characters like fucking Kawakami or the doctor, I forget her name. The doctor or like the gun salesman who I think have better arcs in the game than like fucking Ryuji and or Yusuke or more fucking Morgana is kind of a weird case because of how Morgana is used. If anything, I feel like they use Morgana to kind of like overshadow Haru, and that shit pissed me off. I just fucking I think the weakest part of that, and I hated that the story took so long to get to the point where I kind of agree with it. Like the story does this thing about how all these fucking adults are assholes and shit, but they keep doing this lingering shit with a lot of them where you can understand that like part of their issue is the fact that the society they lived in pushed them in that direction. And it never fucking, yeah, it might be Tay is what I'm thinking of. But like society was pushing them in that direction. And I'm like, don't introduce that as like, don't push that as like a concept that I'm catching and do nothing with it. It took them so long. I was just kind of done. I hate, like a lot of people say they can relate to the Phantom Thieves. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Because part of it, like some of their problems are self-inflicted to a degree. Like the character I legitimately felt bad for, I think, when I first met them was probably Yusuke, because Yusuke was just victim of circumstance. And part of Anne's issue was her own fucking fault. She also has terrible like heart-to-hearts. Is it heart-to-hearts in Persona? What is it called? Confidants. Anne has terrible confidants. Ryuji's isn't that much better than hers. Yusuke's is pretty weak. The confidants are like fucking garbage. Fucking for the main cast. Not until you get. I think Futaba has good ones. I think Makoto's are stupid. I still think Makoto has like one of the most annoying bait and switches in the game, where she's introduced to like when she has her awakening. It's on some badass like I'm not gonna be the same meek person I was before. Like her whole Persona awakening in the game was like this fucking like she was on her shit. And then bro, to find out her confidants, like half of them are about making friends and then like having this new friend. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck is that? The characters are weak in Persona 5. And look, and I've heard that. I've heard that about Persona 5 rule. But here's my thing. I don't want to play the game again just to get better characters. When that should have been in the first fucking game. Ugh. That's why I said if we got ports of Persona games on the Switch, the ones I want is 3 and 4. Because 3 and 4 I haven't played. The only information I have about Persona 3 Persona 4 is from the anime. I watched both of the animes for Persona 4. I didn't even watch 5's anime because I couldn't stand. I still don't care about Persona 5's cast that much. Also, what was the thing Tyrone said a while ago? So my issue is whenever I ask people what they like about Final Fantasy VII Remake, they say the same thing. It looked so good. So you don't even have to want. So you don't need to want the game. You just wanted a movie. The two main things I've heard people really like about about Final Fantasy VII Remake is the visuals, and people like the combat. The combat gets, I think, unanimously praised. But like the original had great combat too. So it's like, that doesn't do a lot for me personally. Oh, did you repost it, Tyrone? I guess you did. Oh yeah, all day, every day. Xenoblade 2 has better characters. That's a personal opinion. I've heard things about Persona 3, but those are the two I would play. Actually, that might be like the next. So the problem is like fucking. I need Persona games on other consoles because I don't want to play them on PlayStation right now. Also, I just like having things on my Switch. If I had to be real with you, I hate to be that guy, but I really do. But Persona literally takes 20 hours to get great. Whoa, damn, Enemy Rapper. That's a bold fucking statement. And see, that's the other thing. Persona 5 also wasn't that crazy in combat. I feel like Persona 5 was a game that got away with some of its weaker aspects just based on its visual style. And don't get it twisted. Persona 5 has a really good visual fucking style. It has its own personality and swagger. But god damn it, don't sit there and tell me that Persona 5's combat was some deep ass shit. It devolved into the same shit that a lot of, like I said, Octopath has more engaging combat. Fucking Bravely Default has more engaging combat. Persona 5 is based off of a Pokemon's mindset with a break system that never got any deeper than find the enemy's weakness. And the one thing I fucking hated more than anything else with Persona 5's combat was the fact that if Joker died, you would have to, it's a game over. That is the dumbest shit to me. That's like some old arcade fucking RPG nonsense. When the main character dies, the match is over. Fuck you. It's such stupid goddamn logic. I hate that. I hate it. I want that to be on note. The worst thing about Persona 5's combat for me was when if Joker dies, I lose the fucking match. It's game over. That's dumb. Eat a dick for that one. That's me personally. Worst fucking thing. Hate it with a passion. Ugh. FMO is also very challenging. Remake. Visuals have always been the main staple of Final Fantasy. People are allowed to like games that are pretty. Y'all need to get over that. It's cool that you like it, but that's not what I'm playing it for. That's my whole thing. Like that to me, that's not a selling point to get me to play a game. That's my thing about visuals. It's not like Final Fantasy 15 where you have to hide somewhere to heal yourself. I have my mixed opinions on the healing in 7. I don't like the fact that 7's healing is based behind the gauge. The same gauge I use for like specials and shit in Magic. That's just too many things behind one gauge, in my opinion. That's a personal thing, though. I know some people like it. I tried playing SMNT 4, and that was a struggle. I couldn't even get past the second boss of SMT. Shin Megami Tensei is just it's a game that I think legit might be too hard for me. Persona 4 is the same. Fuck me, that's not great. Persona games always did that. I hate it, though. I hate it. I wonder if he hates it. Nah. Final Fantasy 13 has that problem, too. So Joker has to be in your parties all times. I never played. Yeah. It's a selling point for some people. Oh, no, that's fine. If it is, that's cool. I mean, but like I said, I'm more of a Western-style gamer. I'm more of a Japanese-style gamer in that way. That, like, visuals don't dictate my interest in a purchase. For me, anyway. I know for some people it does, but for me it doesn't. So let me cross out the Persona 5 question that I wasn't trying to get into, but Lightning likes to get me into. Then I delete that shit. Okay, there we go. Let's get controversial. Would you mind if your girlfriend only had an OnlyFans account? Why do you do this, Melvin? I would prefer her not to have an OnlyFans account. Could be before you date her, or she creates one while you're dating. I would like to say she wouldn't need an OnlyFans account. How am I keeping myself busy with this current climate with the virus? Videos, video games, talking to friends on Discord, that whole nine. Do you watch any podcasts in addition to the ones you're on? Not really. I'll glance at a couple podcasts, but none that I consistently follow. Do you prefer girls that share the same interests as you, or a girl that you can introduce your interests to? I'll date both. I don't really care. I mean, it's cool to have a girl who's already interested into the same shit that I'm into, but I don't mind introducing a girl into the things I'm interested in. So, those are all Melvin's questions. He wants to be mad reckless in the question box, but damn. So let me delete that. And that's all the questions. Let's see what you guys were saying in the chat. Final Fantasy 15. 15 looked good visually, but ultimately weren't that great at games. Yes, but the main character must be in the party at all times in the Persona games, which is kind of stupid. Final Fantasy 13 fixes that problem though, which is cool. Let's see. That's not even to think about. If she loses and she loses with everybody, I guess you can't let the main character. That's probably the reason why I like. Actually, you know what's weird? I think I'm being spoiled by Dragon Quest 11 because Dragon Quest 11 doesn't. Dragon Quest 11 doesn't punish me. Doesn't punishes me for the main character dying. Like I can just swap them out, and it's not like a penalty to swap them out, even if they're dead. So I appreciate Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest 11 to me is just fuck. That game spoils me. Spoils me, bro. Damn it. I've really gotten to like the latter half of the game, and that game has just gotten addictive. That's me though, but that game has gotten so fucking addictive. Would you be mad if you asked your girl what she was posting on her OnlyFans account and she responded with for $24.99 you can see for yourself? That's just nigga. You shouldn't be. Then y'all ain't dating. That's not your girl. That's a woman who occasionally lets you like kiss her and pretend like y'all dating. That's crazy. That's like my thing. Like I don't mind looking at like these sex workers and whatnot on Twitter and whatnot. Because hell, if you're putting it on Twitter and it's something I can enjoy, it's whatever. It's like saying, "Oh, I don't look at porn." Girl, of course I look at porn. My whole problem is like if I'm dating you, to me that shouldn't be your default. Now, if you like the cosplay, I'm not saying if you don't like that's one thing. Cosplaying and lewd shit are two different tiers. Like I wouldn't if I'm dating you, I have no interest in you being like a fucking an e-girl. Me personally. Like I just have no interest in dating an e-girl. Do I think they're attractive? Do I think they look good in the shit they do? Hell yeah, but I'm not fucking I don't need that's not a girlfriend to me then. It's like that's just not me. For me personally, that's just not me. But like I said, you cosplay, that's whatever. When did OnlyFans become a staple? I'm starting to see that everywhere. I don't know. People figured it out. She was posting anime reactions on there. Oh, some fucking she did. It was a trick. I mean, cosplay can be naughty, but like cosplay is not the same thing. Like cosplaying, you're not charging people to cosplay. I mean, you can. To be fair, you could. Like, I guess that's a better question. Wait, women who aren't prostitutes pretend to be dating? Oh, shit. Yeah, it kind of just depends on your mentality. I just wouldn't like. I may enjoy the work that they do. And here's my thing: I'm not shaming anyone who does that kind of work. I'm just saying, like, I don't want my girlfriend doing that work. Because, like, at that point, to me, like, one of the things about dating, and granted, it's not the only thing, but one of the major things to me about dating is, like the only way I would even consider it is, like, we need to have, like, a good, long conversation about it and why the fuck she's doing it in the first place. Because most of the girls who are doing it, like, don't date dudes who are doing anything crazy. Like, most of those dudes are either helping them in their business or whatever. But I just, it's just not. It's not the type of chick I would fuck with personally. Like I said, if you're a cosplayer, that's whatever. And even then, like, as long as it's not on some like borderline porn shit, I don't really care. Like, there are people who cosplay who aren't like doing lewds and shit. There's a bunch of girls who do that. Yeah, I heard about the Susie Lou stuff. Actually, that was another video I was gonna do. So I'm not gonna go into it now, but that is Red Dragon. I heard about the Susie Lou situation. I didn't even know Susie Lou had that kind of fucking I didn't even know. It's weird because I've watched Susie Lou's reactions before. I didn't even know about all that drama going on with her until recently. So there is a video on the vlog channel that is coming. I just haven't recorded it yet. Yeah, and that's the other thing. That's the other reason why I would say never pay for an OnlyFans account. Bro, somebody's gonna leak that shit anyway. Hell, people were leaking Patreon pictures and videos. That's just you ain't gotta spend money online to see a bunch of naughty shit. It's so hell, just following these girls on Instagram and Twitter, you see so much shit. There ain't no reason to be paying any kind of money for any of that. Now people will, because the biggest moment of weakness is when you ain't when your mind ain't in the right space and you have your credit card next to you or your PayPal account next to you. Have you read? I can't believe the class rep has an OnlyFans account. Perry on his shit tonight, bro. Oh Jesus! If your girl had a boyfriend before her package has been opened, Orion Sword. Wait, what? Most guys prefer their packages unopened. Well, I guess because that's the question. The question is, well, because OnlyFans isn't the same thing. Like that's like saying you wouldn't date a girl who's never had sex before. Like if she's had sex, then you're not dating her. Dating, like having sex in an OnlyFans account are two different things. Like that's like saying, put it this way, really, realistically, what it is like this saying, would you date a hooker? A hooker who spent like a year doing all these like, because like that's essentially what it is, sex work. That's why they call it sex work. That's literally why it's not like full on like porn, but it's essentially just sex work. Like, would you date a porn star? That's a better question. Probably not. No, I would date a. I'll put it this way: I would. I guess the more interesting question is: would you date a retired? I feel like this was not. You walked in at the wrong time, KG. That's all I'm gonna fucking say, bro. Would you date like a retired porn star? That's a better question. Because if you wouldn't, that's a problem. Oh, Jesus. This has gotten real convoluted. It's Melvin's fault, by the way. Oh, my goodness. I feel like we've gone off the deep end, and I feel like we need to return back to normality. So, I think that's all the topics I wanted to cover. Or not that the other guy has seen. It doesn't need to be the majority of people. Like, especially if you're someone who has like a social media presence. Like for someone like me to date a girl who has like, no, like I said, if you're a cosplayer, I don't really care. Like, I don't want to date a girl who everyone has seen the vagina of. Because like you gotta understand, on a guy's perspective, I now have to deal with that consequence. Also, to me, there are a bunch of things a girl can do that don't require, like, put it this way, when I hear people talk about, like when iDubbbz did his response, let me put it this way. When iDubbbz did his response talking about why he was okay with his girlfriend, a guy had like critiqued him and he had used that dude's clip in the video. And one of the things the dude said was there were so many other things she could have done before degrading herself. And for some reason, iDubbbz's response was something along the lines of like, it's crazy that a YouTube commentator thinks that having an OnlyFans account is so much more degrading. And I'm like, bro, those are two different fucking things. Now, granted, the similarities they only share is that you're whoring yourself out. It's just that one requires no dignity to do, and some requires, and one is just more straightforward about it. Because realistically, you could argue that YouTube is whoring yourself out to the same degree, but it all depends on how you play the game. A commentator is like the kind of guy who doesn't do that, actually. My grandfather had basically 15 wives and 75 children. Damn! That's crazy. Are you calling people with OnlyFans hookers? Depends on what you put on the OnlyFans. I've never even been to the fucking site. I don't even know what the site looks like. I've never been to OnlyFans. Because OnlyFans is like going to Patreon. Except I have a reason to go to Patreon. And people were putting up lewds in Patreon. You know you're going to have to deal with that one dude acting big and bad and saying the wrong thing and now you fighting. Yes, I'm not going to fight a girl. I'm not going to fight over that. Because realistically, like, the question is what kind of girl are you into? And would that kind of girl you're into be the type of chick that would, like, be on OnlyFans? Worst part of that, the guy who iDubbbz responded to was joking. His entire video was a joke, which just tells me iDubbbz missed the fucking point. Now, if you're cool with it, look, and that's my whole thing. Like, if you're cool with it, you're cool with it. But, like, it needs to be like. And ironically enough, the big thing with iDubbbz's girlfriend having OnlyFans wasn't even a huge issue. From what I heard, people's bigger issue with her is that she was saying a bunch of reckless and offensive shit. That's what tripped me out. Like, people's main issue with iDubbbz's girlfriend was the fact that she was just saying a bunch of reckless and ridiculous shit. It's a naked website that's private. Well, it's private, but you essentially got to pay to get in. Essentially, it's like a paid gentleman's club. So you can still see everything as long as you have money. So it's gated in terms of the sense that you got to pay for stuff. But yeah. Because like realistically, like why the fuck would I want a girl? Why would I want my girlfriend having naked pictures of herself online to make money? Real thing, guys, you need to watch out for it. The crazy ass ex-boyfriend wants to fight. Wait, who's crazy ass ex-boyfriend? You talking about like iDubbbz's ex-boyfriend? I mean iDubbbz's girlfriend's ex-boyfriend? This is shit we should not be talking about on a fucking gaming podcast. This always fucking happens with you guys. Usually the anime and manga conversation is fine, but goddamn. I know why this is getting brought. It's because I made that video on my vlog channel. Which was me rambling at 1 o'clock in the morning about some shit. That guy garnered a toxic fan base and that's kind of the problem. Like, the fan base that's turned on him partially is because, well, realistically, iDubbbz's problem is that he set a standard for himself. iDubbbz was the one walking around fucking trying to be on the moral high ground, and then, like, once he lowered himself below his own, like, YouTube standards, that was the problem. He shot himself, because, like, realistically, if you were a dude who was, like, historically consistent, or if, like, he had just took the criticism well. Like, realistically, if iDubbbz had just took the criticism and been done with it, he would have been fine. But iDubbbz felt the need to defend himself on some shit that realistically didn't do him any favors. And so now iDubbbz has been lowered in the eyes of the YouTube populace. That time we devolved into depravity, season 2. You better get that shit on Blu-ray to get the fucking bonus features. There's gonna be some commentary on some of those episodes. I don't know if it was you or another channel, but someone basically said she is the type of person he make fun of. Yeah, that's literally what it is. Like, he would make fun of the type of girl she is. That's what got him screwed. His own videos and the standard he set for himself is what screwed him over. If he had just shut the fuck up and just took the jokes like a normal person, instead of getting defensive about it, when he knew he was fucked up, he was the one walking around. It's like him, realistically, you know what it is? Like, alright, so here's the thing. iDubbbz was pretty known for saying the word, like, nigger faggot all the time. And people rock with him because his reasoning behind why he would say it and how he feels about slurs, like, either you don't say it at all or you say it. Or it's normalized. Like, he was and I agree with that. Like, the N-word was one of those words I don't think needs to be held to the standard it's currently held to. And I agree with that. But that's like him all of a sudden then going, of him being like, because his whole argument was either it's all or nothing, for him to then turn into like a flip-flopper with the word. where he would sometimes use it to make a point, but then other times he would say it's offensive. That's like him backing down from his own logic. That's what he did, and that's what got him in trouble. It's the same situation here. The logic he was using originally is what got him in trouble in the long run. And why? Because he wouldn't just shut the fuck up and take an L. Sometimes people don't understand. On YouTube, you just need to take an L. Get out. On YouTube, if you fuck up, just take an L. She threw the booty at him, and now he weak. Happens a lot in relationships. That's true. But hey, listen, if that's the kind of lifestyle he wants to live, that's cool. But you know what? When you put that shit online and you respond bad to it, you get fucking embarrassed. So that's what it is. And it's funny because most people would not care if he would just shut the fuck up about it. Some people, sometimes you just gotta take an L. That's all it is. But that's beside the point. You know what? This is besides the point. We're already like 20 minutes over. This was something that was not meant to happen tonight, but it did. I hope you guys were entertained by it. But that's besides the fucking point. We're getting the fuck out of here. I might just put an ass on the thumbnail just to see, just so people are curious, because it is relevated to the. I'm gonna put a PlayStation fucking 5 controller. I'm going to put Jill, and then I'm going to put just like an ass on the thumbnail. I'm done. So, tomorrow, catch me on The Juice is Loose at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, where we're probably going to talk about some shit, video game-wise. I think I'm tired now. I think we're done for tonight. This was random as fuck, but I hope you guys are entertained. Pogs next stream. Let's go, Pogs. Life's a game. Play to win. Catch you guys later. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the $20 donation, Zora saying. And I'm going to... And, yeah. Period's going to put out the OnlyFans stream. That's what he's going to do. Yeah, later days. Later days. Goddamn. Fat white girl ass boots. Oh, shit. Have a good night. Fucking... Thank Melvin. It's Melvin's fault. Sir Mel, it's his fault. If you ask why this conversation devolved into this, it's his fault. Goddamn. Good motherfucking night. Woo!